So I've done a few videos on the Motoring Chronicle recently about traffic, about motorways in the UK, about the most congested, the most high traffic routes in the United Kingdom and beyond as well. I've done it for Europe as well. And for spoiler alerts, but anybody who knows the UK and knows our road network will know that the busiest road in the UK by overall traffic volume is by far the M25, what is effectively the ring road for London. Now, I've got some really nice comments on there, and unfortunately I seem to have lost the one that I'm doing this video about today. That being the one where it says, well, you should do a video going over the Lower Thames Crossing, the LTC, as it is abbreviated to. And I was like, what is the LTC? Well, this comment actually described it, because basically at the moment, if you want to cross the River Thames in England, the most popular way to do it, and this is east of the capital by the way, further downstream from there, is the Dartford Crossing. Which, now I said in my video about the M25 that on average it takes around 250,000 vehicles per day across the entire thing. The Dartford Crossing alone takes half of that. So half of the overall traffic on the M25 goes over this one road, which is an absolute nightmare for traffic. Because anybody wanting to get from those parts of London or those parts of either Essex down into Kent or Kent up into Essex, it's an absolute mess. It's just not built for the amount of traffic that it gets. But the United Kingdom, with its government, in its infinite wisdom, has come up with a solution, that being the LTC, the Lower Thames Crossing, which is approaching, or has passed now I should say, 15 years since it was initially proposed. And still, nothing has been happening. Nothing has been done. Nothing substantial has been built, and it is now projected to get started in the year 2026, 17 years after it was initially officially proposed. And it'll be finished, if this all goes to plan, in 2031, over 20 years after it was first proposed. You know, the Sagrada Familia in Barcelona, that'll be finished before then. Gaudi could have designed this thing, and it'd still probably be. I mean, and the reason why this is well, there's a few reasons why, but the biggest reason why is, of course, ineptitude from the governments of the UK over the years, just generally dragging the feet on this, not knowing, having this big, bold vision about how to change things, how to make things better for the residents of the south of England, the residents of London, but then actually thinking, how do we do that? How can we do that? And this is that. HS2 is another absolutely glaring, ugly, abhorrent example of this. Shaving 10 minutes of travel time between London and Birmingham, and it's going to cost many, many billions of pounds, and so far nothing has been done. It's the exact same thing with this. So I'll just quickly go through what the timeline really with this, because I've got the Wikipedia article up here. I'll put it into the video as well so you guys can see what I see basically, but it's just ridiculous. So they basically came up with a bunch of options, and eventually I believe their preferred option was option C when it comes to this one here. So the east of Gravesend linking the M20. Right, so that's basically where they want to build it. But if you look at the actual timeline of this, so January 2009, Department of Transportation published a study regarding potential ways to address capacity issues crossing the River Thames. This included short-term measures to improve the existing Dartford crossing, as well as evaluation of future crossings in the long term. The study considered 5 corridors, and I believe they went with C eventually, the east of Gravesend. That's the preferred option. The study also identified a lack of demand for additional passenger rail or rail freight capacities across the river beyond the project. Already under construction, completed, noting the High-Speed 1 and Crossrail projects, which would provide cross-river capacity. So it's basically to do with cars. It's only cars that are the problem here. In 2010, so a study commissioned by Kent County Council proposed that the northern end of the crossing should bypass the M25 and continue on to connect the M11. This would presumably be option C. 2012. Count the years, by the way. This is 3 years. Plans were announced for the London Resort theme park, which is a whole disaster in itself that I don't have any business going into, because that would be for a Architecture Chronicle, Disaster Chronicle. I don't know what chronicle that would be, but it's not motoring. Commenting on the road and motorway access to the park, Kent County Council Highways Chief Councillor Brian Sweetland said that he was looking at a significant variation to option B. Then in 2017, so nothing happens for 5 years. This is 8 years now. April 2017, Secretary for State says they're going to go with option C as the preferred route. November 2017, Highways England announced that it's currently thinking for the design of the route encompassing a number of changes that of the original public consultation. The route would now avoid all a landfill site near Ockenden, there we go. The junction with the A13 will be redesigned and the junctions with the A12, A128 and the A226 would be removed. Furthermore, the A2 will be widened at its junction with a new crossing to approach the new road at junction 1 of the M2. Then in 2018, this is 9 years after it was initially proposed, Tim Jones, in his position at LTC project director, confirmed that the proposal would not resolve all the problems of both of them. So they've got this proposal, and they're like, yeah, it won't solve all the problems. Sorry guys, sorry. That is laughable. And they realised this 9 years after. And I know some people will say, well, things could have changed in 9 years. Yeah, they did. I'm sure they did. But the fundamental issue is that there's too much traffic going over that crossing, Dartford Crossing. Oh my goodness me. 2019, 10 years after it was initially proposed. Highways England said they were expected to submit a planning permission in summer 2020. Let's just go down to 2020. So it revised the proposals based on the previous option C. Construction was expected to take 6 years. I'll refer you to the top, by the way. If it's taken 6 years, why is the proposed date of completion 5 years after the start date? It doesn't really add up, does it? So in 2021, 12 years after it was initially proposed, they announced that they'd split the construction of the road into 3 sections. 2 contractors will build the road north and south of the tunnel at a cost of £1.3 billion and £600 million respectively. Another contractor would build the tunnel at a cost of £2.3 billion. This would allow construction of the project to begin immediately after the DCO process is completed. So then they go into planning permission, because in anything in the UK you have to have planning permission to do anything, even to your own home. So scale it up to these kind of mega projects and you're going to need a lot of permission basically. So in October 2020, the Highways England submitted their application for a development consent order, DCO, for the proposed Lower Thames Crossing. After submission, the Planning Inspectorate requested details missing from the application, as well as more information on construction plans and the environmental impact of the scheme from Highways England. In November 2020, Highways England were advised that the Planning Inspectorate would not accept the applications. They got rejected. Following this feedback, Highways England instead chose to withdraw the DCO and carry out further works for resubmission in 21. In 2021, so now 12 years after first proposal, the 120-day internal deadline was missed. In summer 2022, so now 13 years, unlucky for them, after the original proposal, a further local consultation took place with a new DCO application submitted in 22. The DCO process is expected to take 18 months, which will include public hearings. Oh, so it's already happened then? No! Because we had the general election in the summer that's just gone. A surprise one. We didn't expect it to be that soon. So that was delayed by a further 6 months. So, 2025. January 2025, we are expecting, if everything's adhered to hear back about this DCO and whether it's been accepted or not. And it might not be accepted because, again, if I had more time, I would go into details about the environmental impact and stuff like that, because that's a whole thing in itself. But yes, to answer your question, the person who proposed it, I'm very thankful for this topic to talk about. I had no idea about this. This is in my own country. It's an absolute mess. And let's be honest here, is it even going to get to... Are they even going to start it in 26? That's a year after this thing is potentially going to be accepted. I don't see it. It's just one of them projects that it'll happen at some point, but it's taken so long to get on the road and it's still not started. Nothing has changed, and nothing is gonna change until 7 years from now, the earliest, because that's when it'll be finished. But there we go, the Lower Thames Crossing, another British engineering marvel that hasn't even started built yet. So yeah, for a bit of a longer one there, guys. Another video from the weird and wacky world of motoring. I hope you enjoyed that. I very much was entertained by it, but it's very cringeworthy because it's like my tax money is going to try and fund that thing. Nice one, guys. Very much spending it. Forget about education and healthcare. Let's just waste it on a crossing that's never going to happen, probably. Great. HS2 as well while you're at it. That's another rabbit hole. But yeah, we'll see you soon for some more content here on the motoringchronicle.com. Hope you guys enjoyed that, and yeah, have a good one.